What's what's up, everybody, and welcome back to episode 22 of the Sports Trade here with Cole Thompson. Another crazy week in sports. I do have another guest on 3 weeks in a row. Thanks again to TJ and KJ. They were the last two. Today we have TikTok Philly sports star Cahtahhat. He's going to be coming on to talk about, sports media, and because he's made progressions in he's gotten jobs and opportunities with different companies. And we're going to review the playoff games ahead. And we're going to look back. We're going to talk about the overtime rules. And also, we're going to talk about the Sixers a little bit. So let's get right into it. I will now flip it over to me and Kata. And now we are back. I'm here with Cahtahhat. Kata, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Sixers
won last night.
Yeah, they did. LeBron didn't play, but still.
Ducked Embiid.
Yeah, Embiid didn't even have his best game, but they still found a way to win. So, first question I just have to ask this: where did you get the name Cahtahhat from?
Flyers goalie Cahtahhat.
Okay. Did you just like him, or was there?
So I think it was Kevin Hayes after one of the playoff games said Cahtahhat, and I just kind of rolled with it. It seems like a cool name.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely didn't expect to blow up the way I did. So I'm like, I kind of wish I could have a different name, but it's kind of a brand now, so I can't really change it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of blowing up, let's talk. I just want to talk about, because obviously you're one of the bigger, especially on the Philly sports side, one of the bigger creators. What was your journey to get to where you are, to have you have 67,000 followers now on TikTok?
Yeah.
What was your journey to get there?
Well, it just happened. It's weird to say, but I think I made one video one time of Joe Burrow was wearing some heart monitor, but it looked like a sports bra. So I'm like, damn, it looks like Joe Burrow's got a sports bra. Not only do the Bengals suck, and now obviously that aged really poorly because the Bengals are probably going to win the AFC Championship. But I think I got 100,000 views on that and 2,000 followers. And then I hit 10,000 a couple weeks later. Then it just kept going up.
Yeah.
And it's really a lot of my followers come from 2 or 3 videos just got a ton of views.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I definitely seen that with people. They blow up off of one video, and then they're like, "Oh, I didn't expect to blow up," and now you kind of just stick with it. But I know you just got a job working with DSM Media. How did you get that opportunity?
So I actually ran into El Parcero at the Sixers Clippers game, and he was there with my guy Scotty, and Scotty is one of the co-founders of DSM. So I was kind of joking around with him, I can be the Stephen A. Smith of DSM. And then we got to talking, I'm actually going to be the Stephen A. Smith of DSM.
Hey, man,
so
that's great. That's a great opportunity. I know.
Yeah, it's fun.
You always just got to find that opportunity to be able to grow.
Absolutely.
So let's get into sports. Before we get into football, I want to talk about, so last night we talked about the Sixers winning. Embiid didn't even have his best, he didn't have a bad game, but for the way he's been playing, it was a bad game.
Yeah.
What do you see as the ceiling for the Sixers right now?
I can't see them getting out of the second round. I would like to say yes, but I think they can only go as far as Tobias and Maxey will take them. And I love Tyrese Maxey, but he's 21 years old and still developing. So unless they can trade Simmons and get something valuable for him, I don't see them getting out of the second round, especially since they couldn't get out of the second round last year with him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would also like to say they could get out of the second round, but it's hard to beat a team in a 7-game series. I think one night the Sixers can beat anybody, but in a 7-game series, when you only have Embiid and your second best player is 21, first year starting, it's hard to be able to get out of the second round.
Yeah, it is.
So
especially, and I hope it doesn't happen, but every year, Embiid gets that injury.
Yep, I'm hoping not either, because he's on pace to be an MVP right now.
Yep.
Definitely was on pace last year too. Went down, didn't go well, and the Sixers had every opportunity in the world to beat the Hawks last year, and they just didn't take them. So we talked about Simmons and Tobias. They both have a ton of trade rumors behind them, and they both should have high trade higher trade values. But I mean, obviously Simmons be acting like Ben Simmons destroys his value, and Tobias hasn't had the best season compared to some of the things we've seen. So what do you think is the best way to trade them? Do you think like a package deal or them separate?
I mean, honestly, it depends what you get for Simmons. I don't think you really need to trade Tobias. I think Tobias can be a solid third option. It's just who's going to be that second option. Can they get James Harden? Can they get Bradley Beal? Can they get Dame? One of these type guys. Because Tobias is still a good player. I mean, obviously he's not worth the contract they're paying him, but he doesn't seem to be a team cancer or anything bad in the locker room. I don't mind having him around. As a second option, he's not great, but as a third option, he's fine.
And that was the thing. He was supposed to be a third option. That's when they brought him in. He was supposed to actually when they brought him in, he was the fourth option because they had Jimmy at the time. But then he turned into a third option. He fit his role. He played well, and then obviously everything that happened with Simmons, which it sucks because Simmons had so much. He still has so much potential. It just won't ever happen in Philly.
It's up here.
It's all in the head. Yep. Same thing that happened with Carson Wentz. It's all in the head. And that, especially with fans like Philly fans, if you get in your head, you let them get in your head.
Definitely not me. I don't any of that at all.
Oh, you and Jalen Reagor are just best friends, aren't you?
Bro, I wonder if he's like actually seen it. He's got it. He's had to have seen one of the videos.
I'm sure because I've seen like random accounts like on TikTok and Instagram post like clips of you and other people bashing Jalen Reagor and tagging him. I'm sure he's seen it at some point.
There's no way he hasn't.
But yeah.
And it's really Jalen, it's not personal. I think. But
it wasn't personal until the playoff game. It became personal for me.
I don't know. That drop right in front of me in New York. Oh,
that's right. You were at that game. I forgot you were at that game.
Yeah. Right in the end zone where it happened.
Oh my God.
That was a great view of the play too.
Yeah, it would have been. That was Jalen Hurts' best ball all day. Because he did not have a great game.
No, the pass before was.
Oh yeah, the one before. But those were probably his two best passes like the entire game.
Well, and the other thing is, Reagor made an insane catch before halftime, and then Hurts to the pick. It's like,
yep. No, that was probably the worst game for Jalen Hurts this year. So, for me, I want the Sixers to be able to pursue James Harden in the offseason. That's because I don't think he's going to re-sign with Brooklyn. I don't think he fits well with KD. I think he would fit perfectly with Embiid. I think he perfectly with a big man that can score at will. I think that's the perfect fit for James Harden. So I think that Philly is the perfect test, and he already has a relationship with Daryl Morey. We all know Daryl Morey's in love with James Harden.
Yeah.
I would love this, but the thing is they have both those contracts and they're going to have to get rid of them. I think, honestly, I don't think they're going to get a deal done by the deadline.
No.
Unless
Morey's pretty much said he's not trading him.
Yeah, unless somebody's going to give him another superstar. Part of me is okay with that, kind of like, okay, Embiid's not young. He's not the youngest player in the league, but he still has a lot of time left in his prime. So
now if they don't trade Ben or Tobias at the deadline, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
They have to make some type of move though for another scorer, another backup point guard, something.
Yep.
And it doesn't need to be a superstar type player. If they do that Alec Burks type move they did a couple years ago, that would be fine. But they need just something extra.
Yeah, definitely. If I obviously don't see a way they're going to make something happen. So if they're kind of like, okay, we're not going to settle now, but in the offseason, if we know we have a realistic shot at James Harden, we will settle for a trade. We'll take less than what we originally wanted.
Yeah.
And I looked and I saw like the only team that possibly would work out would be the Pacers, but there's no point in getting Sabonis. Him and Embiid play too similar.
Bring TJ McConnell back home.
TJ McConnell, yes. I would love to have TJ McConnell back.
I don't care who else you get in the deal. As long as TJ's in the deal, that's fine.
TJ McConnell. Have Ben Simmons and Tobias. We just want TJ. That's it.
Yeah. Just take our cap. Take it.
Take the money. So basketball still has a lot of season left. We're not even at the All-Star break yet. So football's winding down though. We only got 3 games left in the season, unfortunately. And last weekend was insane. That was probably the greatest weekend of football I've ever watched in my entire life.
Yeah.
Every game was a 1-score game. I was stunned that the Packers upset got upset by the 49ers. I really thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to put it together finally this year.
And Aaron Rodgers is getting a lot of flack for that game, but those 2 kicks don't get blocked, and he's in the NFC Championship. He's probably going to the Super Bowl at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think, like I said, Aaron Rodgers didn't have his best game, but Aaron Rodgers also had an MVP caliber, an MVP season again.
Yeah.
He's a 2-time MVP, and his special teams couldn't get a punt off.
I don't understand how how your special teams can be that bad. I feel like teams just don't put enough emphasis on special teams, and I think even with the Eagles, I think the Eagles lost a couple games this year because they're special teams, and it wasn't just Jalen Reagor muffing punts. It was Jalen Reagor doesn't know how to get up the field, and our Siposs was pretty bad towards the end of the year. He was good at the start of the year, but even like the kickoff team, like we saw Huntley in that one game against the Cowboys look really good. They bring him up, but then don't play him in the playoff game, and he probably should have. Actually, he should have been returning punts over Jalen Reagor. Now, if they don't win the game because of Huntley, but it can help a lot.
No, yeah, it definitely would have. Yeah, the Eagles still had a hope of coming back. They still had the momentum on the defensive end from all this because they had just been making stops. They made 3 straight stops, and then just all fluttered. Once Jalen Reagor muffed the punt, I think everybody knew it was like, okay,
Jalen Reagor sucks. We know
yeah,
this.
yeah. But everybody knew at that point, like all hope was lost. Like, it was over. But yeah, no, it definitely with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they had 3 plays, the 2 blocks, and on the final field goal, they only had 10 guys on the field. Like, how do you go on there in the divisional round playoff game, last second field goal, and only have 10 guys on the field?
What were they? 2 seed, 3 seed, something like that. They were the 1 seed.
The Packers, they were the 1 seed. Yeah, they were the number 1 seed, and
I don't know how you can't be prepared for that. But
you had 2 weeks to prepare, and they specifically said they were preparing for the 49ers because they thought the 49ers were going to beat the Cowboys. So they were specifically preparing for the 49ers, and they just didn't. I don't know what happened. Their special teams coach, I hope he got fired. I hope he is.
Yeah, he should 100% get fired for that.
He should 100% get fired and probably never coach again in the NFL. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's insane to me. I mean, Joe Burrow, and going to the other game, another last second field goal on the opposite side of special teams. I hope Evan McPherson never has to buy beer in Cincinnati ever again in his entire life.
Oh, I'm sure he doesn't.
Because he 4 for 4, he walked out for the final field goal. And goes, looks like we're going to the AFC title game.
Especially if they make it to the Super Bowl, he's never.
Yeah,
that's going to be talked about forever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean when we talk about the games, I'll talk more about that offensive line. But oh my God, that Bengals offensive line was atrocious.
Yeah, it's not good.
We're going to Sundays. Oh,
take Dillard from us.
Take Dillard, yeah, please.
Give us a 3rd, 4th round pick. Take Dillard, and he's going to shore up your offensive line.
Yep. So going to Sunday's games, probably 2 of the best football games ever. I remember I was on the phone. I went to the grocery store when it was 27-3, came back and I was on the phone with my friend. I told him, said to him, I said, Tom Brady's going to come back in this game. And they just Tom Brady once again just pulled magic off. But after 22 years, I guess the magic finally caught up with him, and Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford found the magic.
Cooper Kupp. I just can't believe how good Cooper Kupp has become.
I know. He won. I remember when he was coming out of college, he specifically said he wanted to be an Eagle.
Carson Wentz wanted him bad too.
Yep. And
I think he was supposed to be like a 4th round pick or something. And he went higher than I thought he was going to go. I thought he was going to reach. But
I think the Eagles actually were going to take him, but I think that he got picked too. He got picked a lot earlier than people were.
Yeah. Now you 100% take him in the 2nd round. Seeing what he has now.
Oh, absolutely.
But, I just wonder what it would have been like if Carson Wentz actually got a receiver, like his receiver, not like Alshon and Torrey Smith were fine, and Nelson Aguilar was fine. But he never had that guy. He never had Justin Jefferson. He never had Cooper Kupp. Never had Jamar Chase. Anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to know how he would have done with Devontae Smith this year.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing is. Hurts missed a lot of those deep balls to Watkins. I think Watkins is actually a lot better receiver than.
Absolutely. I think Watkins is a perfect wide receiver 3. I know I've seen you talk about, and I completely agree about the Eagles going out and getting a big outside receiver like a Chris Godwin.
Oh yeah. If they draft a guy, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, if they draft a guy, they should do it in the later rounds. maybe
Yeah, if it's a second or third round pick or whatever after the first round, I just don't want any of those 3 picks having anything to do with wide receiver. I don't want to trade for Calvin Ridley. Go
no.
sign a guy.
Yeah, go sign Chris Godwin or Allen Robinson. You have the money. They should use those picks on defense. 100% on
Yep.
defense. That's where
Yep.
the picks should be prioritized at.
I agree.
But, so talking about Sunday again, yeah, and then what were your thoughts on the Bucks Rams game?
So I didn't watch either of the games. I was following along on ESPN. I kind of regret it, but I was having a day with my girlfriend. So, but I'm just like, I saw they went up like 27-3. I'm like, oh, this game's over. There's no way. And then I just saw Brady slowly come back. I'm like, son of a bitch, he's gonna do it again, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just my cousin just texted me Cooper Cup. I'm like, what the hell did this guy do again? and I look, I'm like, wow, the Rams won that game because I thought as soon as the Bucks tied the game, I'm like, all right, it's over.
It's going overtime.
Brady's going to another Super Bowl. It's over.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
I know there's a lot of talk about Brady retiring. I don't see it. I think he has another few years in him. I think at least another 2 years in him. I just think Brady wants to leave people on edge and kind of
yeah. If you think he's going out after divisional game loss,
yeah,
you're fucked up.
I think with Brady, this is the first time it's crossed Brady's mind. He's probably pondered with it a little bit, but
I thought it crossed his mind when he threw that pick six. Was it 2019 before he decided to go to the Bucks?
It might have a little bit, but I think this is the first time he strongly considered.
Yeah,
like I'm sure
he's talking with people still.
I don't think he is retiring. I think he was sitting there. He's like, probably like, if I win a Super Bowl, why don't I just retire? Like I've done everything I could. Like I literally have done everything I could. Like there's nothing else I can do in my career. He's the all-time yards leader, all-time touchdowns leader.
I think he just wants to get it on. I think the guy is just like
loves Super Bowl rings.
The Super Bowl rings are like heroin to him. He can't get enough.
He can't get
like the guy and it wouldn't even surprise me if he's like, all right, I want to go to a different team. I'm done with the Bucks. I want to win a Super Bowl somewhere else now. Like that wouldn't surprise me at all. If he's like, okay, I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers' job.
Go to the Packers. That would definitely be a spit in the face to Aaron Rodgers, but it would be also hilarious.
Yeah. So, it would be hilarious.
I also saw a crazy theory of if Tom Brady retires, the Bucks could pursue Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I could see it.
I could definitely see it because the Bucks are still in win now mode.
Honestly, Aaron Rodgers is his top 3 quarterback in the game. Yeah. There are not many teams out there that shouldn't try to pursue Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
And sure, I know he's 37 years old. Mm-hmm. I don't give a shit. If you watched how he played last year,
yeah, it's
absolutely I'm giving up 2 or 3 first-round picks for him.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care if Jalen Hurts is 23, 24 years old and took the team in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't like I said, I don't see the Eagles trying to get Aaron Rodgers.
No, I don't think they're going to either, but I'd still pursue it.
I definitely would like to pursue. I definitely wouldn't mind pursuing Aaron Rodgers either. But
yeah.
So now to the game of the week, the game everybody talked about, the overtime game. Gabriel Davis, phenomenal game. Josh Allen, phenomenal game. Patrick Mahomes, so many stars of that game except defense. Defense was the one, the overtime rules. I know
Bill's defense was one of the better defenses in the league, and just.
I know you touched on the overtime rules a bit on TikTok. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on the overtime rules, and where they should go with them?
I think both teams need a shot at it. Like, I know defense is very important and all, but do most fans give a shit about defense? Mm-hmm. Not really.
Yep.
The casual fan, do you think they care that, Tre'Davious White made a stop on 4th down and now the Bills won? No, they want to see Josh Allen throw the ball 75 yards down the field.
Yep.
And the way they were dueling, shit, I would go for 9 overtimes at that point. Now, I don't like the whole NFL overtime or college overtime rule where they start from the 2 and all that shit.
I don't like college overtime in general. I don't like taking so much of the field out of the game because even in the first times you take three quarters of the field out of the game. The way I look at it is, if both teams get at least one possession, I don't know what the issue can be at that point, because even if the other team scores a touchdown and kicks the extra point, then you score a touchdown and match them, and they go down and win, you had a chance to win the game you could have gone for 2. You could have won the game. You've had 2 chances to stop them. Like, at that point,
I don't know. I think the game just needs to end on a stop. Like, I don't even like, so you win the toss, score, then you give up a score, and you score again. Like, it's just still coming down to a coin toss. Whoever wins the coin toss is going to win the game still, and it's just not how it should be.
In a way, I mean, I know in the playoffs, it's more likely, like 10 out of the 11 teams have won. But also, if you look at those games, 4 of them, each team has had a possession, and 3 of them have ended on a field goal. Meaning both teams touched the ball and didn't score, and then the other team came down and kicked the field goal. But definitely understand where people are. I understand why people want there to be adjustments. I just don't like the whole concept of people are using that as taking away from what Patrick Mahomes did and what the Chiefs did in that game and driving down.
No, we shouldn't at all.
13 seconds.
I just feel bad for Josh Allen.
Yeah, I feel bad for Josh Allen. But I definitely the Bills have had plenty of chances to win that game. You're up with 13 seconds left. You kicked the ball out the end zone. Then you let up 2. I mean, that corner on that, the Travis Kelce play, that corner guarded the sideline so much and left the middle of the field open, not realizing the Chiefs still had 2 timeouts. Like, he had his hips completely open, allowing Travis Kelce just to run right down the middle.
I don't understand how you can leave their best player. Well, I'm not sure if he's their best player, but one of their best receivers open. That's just the thing. Everybody says, "Oh, just double Tyreek Hill." What the hell are you going to do with Travis Kelce then?
Yeah, the Bills. I mean, for the Bills though, they still have a bright future. I mean, they still have a top 3 quarterback in the league in Josh Allen.
Yeah,
they have a lot to look forward to in the upcoming years. I think the funniest part was when the Chiefs lost to the Patriots in overtime a few years ago. They proposed a new rule for overtime to be similar to college. Each team gets the same amount of possessions, whatever. And the Bills were one of the teams that voted against it. And and it comes back and it bites them. So I guess that's karma, I guess. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs did win, and we have a great slate of conference title games for this weekend.
Yeah.
Let's get into that. We'll start with the NFC side. We have the Rams hosting the 49ers. They played twice this season. 49ers beat them both times. But the Rams have the Marvel Universe football team. They are loaded with superstars. So what are your thoughts heading into this game?
If
you have winning?
If Jimmy Garoppolo goes to his 2nd Super Bowl, I swear, Jimmy Garoppolo is not good.
Well, we all know that.
He is the definition of an average quarterback, and somehow is probably going, I don't. If Stafford chokes this game, it may be done for him. Like, I posted on TikTok the other night, I'm like, if Stafford wins the Super Bowl, is he a Hall of Famer? And I think he is. You look at the numbers, 50,000 passing yards, I think 330 touchdowns. I think he's a Hall of Famer if he wins the Super Bowl this year. If he chokes again to Jimmy Garoppolo, sorry. No, he's not. You got to beat Jimmy Garoppolo.
Absolutely.
It's the Rams game to lose. The Rams are clearly the better team, offensively and defensively.
I think the hardest thing in sports is beating a football team 3 times in the same season. I don't think there's any harder things. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
And I don't see it happening. I don't think the 49ers are that good. You have to be a different level of good. I don't think there's a single team in the league other than maybe like the Packers or the Lions. But realistically, they have to be a playoff team. Like to realistically beat a team 3 times in a season, you have to be another level of good. And I just don't think the 49ers are that level of good, especially against this Rams team. When you see the weapons they have, they just beat Tom Brady when he was on a comeback. Nobody does that.
No, they cheated.
It's unheard of. I just don't see how the Rams lose this game. I don't. I wouldn't mind seeing the 49ers. I wouldn't personally, I would love to see the Chiefs play the 49ers again in the Super Bowl. But realistically, it's not going to happen.
No.
I just don't see the Rams losing to the 49ers. I have the Rams winning. I think I put in 28-20 was my final score prediction. I think the 49ers keep it close. I mean, they're not a fluke team by any stretch.
No. The
Got back here for
49ers
a
are
reason.
still a good team. It's just the Rams are at least should be a different level. If you're talking about the Rams still having Jared Goff, it's a lot closer game. But Stafford should just blow the doors off.
Yeah, they have a better offense. They have a better defense. They're better in almost everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Kyle Shanahan gets back to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo, oh my God.
Yeah.
That runs into the questions. What do you do for the 49ers? Do you start Trey Lance next year, or do you keep Jimmy Garoppolo because you guys just got the 2 Super Bowls in 3 years with them?
Or do you got Aaron Rodgers?
Or you go get Aaron Rodgers. I mean, and the 49ers have a lot of options this offseason. I think the 49ers are another team that, yeah, if they don't win this weekend, we still have a lot to look forward to in the long term.
Yeah.
So
and if they get Aaron Rodgers, I'm trading Jalen Hurts for Trey Lance.
I mean, they play the same style, so
yeah.
Trey Lance has a stronger arm.
Trey Lance has a much stronger arm.
So going to the AFC side of things, or who do you have winning that game? You have the Rams, right?
Yeah.
Rams.
They should win the game.
Yeah. Going to the AFC side of things, we have the Chiefs hosting the Bengals, Joe Burrow versus Patty Mahomes. If you don't know who Patrick Mahomes is, it's Jackson Mahomes' brother. You weren't aware.
Yeah.
If you weren't aware. But so Bengals get ready going into this game, coming off of 2 wins that came down to the very end. Chiefs just came off probably the greatest football game of all time. What do you think about this matchup?
I love Joe Shiesty, but you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is becoming that guy that, I mean, he's on the same level as Brady at this point for me. And I expect Mahomes to win at least 4 or 5 more Super Bowls. So I think he may be put in that GOAT category very soon. And I think it's going to be a close game, but I just don't see the Bengals beating Patrick Mahomes, especially in Patrick Mahomes' home turf.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of the Tennessee team that we saw a few years ago when they played the Chiefs in the AFC title.
Yeah.
They're a team that wasn't supposed to be good this season, ended up being pretty good, pulled off a couple nice wins in the playoffs, one taking down the number 1 seed who happened to be the Titans. And now they're in the conference title game against Patrick Mahomes, and everybody wants them. A lot of people want to see Joe Burrow, want to see that Bengals team win, but we all know at the end of the day they're not beating the Chiefs.
And I don't mind Joe Burrow winning. It would be cool to see Joe Burrow win, but I can't see it yet. Burrow will get his eventually. That AFC is just so stacked with quarterbacks.
Yeah, that makes me happy we're in the NFC.
Yeah.
Because those quarterbacks over there, I mean, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, all guys, all insane guys.
That's why the Eagles can kind of sit back a little bit on Jalen Hurts, because
they don't.
If the Eagles were in the AFC, it'd be a lot different. You would need that elite quarterback at that point.
Yep. I mean, you look at a team like the Browns. The Browns had a very good roster, but quarterback play held them back.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh had a very good roster. Quarterback play held them back.
Yeah.
And then you look at a team like the Chargers. They had a very good quarterback and a very good roster, but coaching held them back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely do see the Chiefs winning as well. I think, but if the Bengals do want a way to win this game, they have to protect Joe Burrow. They have to protect Joe Burrow, not only for this year, just in general. They don't want that guy going down hurt. They don't want that again.
No.
You see how good he can be.
Jamar Chase is insane. I'll give him that. He still should have taken Sewell. I'm gonna stand by that.
I would have loved if they took Sewell, because I thought we probably could have had Jamar Chase then.
Yeah, if they would have taken Sewell, I don't think we would ever trade it back. But I think they knew that Jamar Chase was
going to be off the board, and they probably were like Devontae. There was no major difference between picking Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle at the time.
No, and I don't mind. I mean, Jalen Waddle's a little faster, but it doesn't matter. Your quarterback can't throw the ball down the field.
Yeah. So that's another team. Dolphins quarterback play held them back, and now by firing Brian Flores, they probably lost a shot at Sean Watson.
Tua's developing though. I think Tua's going to be fine.
I think Tua showed. I think what happened was with them is they knew if they fired Brian Flores, they couldn't get Deshaun Watson. but they saw how better Tua got throughout the season. Similar to Jalen Hurts.
If you look at to his raw arm, it's still very, very good. And there's a reason he was a top. What was he 5? He go 5, 2? He went very high, didn't he?
Check.
He went. Did he go before Herbert? I think so.
Yeah, he went a pick before Tua, or before Herbert.
Yeah. And he's got the arm. There's no doubt. It's just he's got to make some better decisions. He's not nearly as mobile as Jalen Hurts. That injury really hindered him.
He went number 5.
He went number 5. That's what I thought.
So,
and that's just, I think he's got the raw arm talent to be okay. That's my only worry with Jalen Hurts is he has to rely fully on developing his accuracy, because the only way he's going to be good is being deadly accurate. He's never going to be able to take the top off of defense.
Yeah. But the thing with Jalen Hurts is he's shown throughout his career that he constantly gets better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he works hard. So you're able to be like, okay, you may not be super accurate right now, but we're going to give you another chance because you show that you want to put in the work. You want to be better. And I mean, leadership, there's not many guys who are better leaders than Jalen Hurts.
No, there's not.
So Jalen Hurts has all the non-teachable things, but he has to get better at the teachable things.
Yeah.
Definitely does. And I mean, this is going to be a very telling year because he was better than he was at points last year. And most of the season, he got better. Now, obviously, that Giants game you were at and the Bucs playoff game, he had really bad games. But through overall, the grand scheme of things, he got better throughout the season.
Yeah. And for a lot of this season, he looked pretty good. It's just those bigger games like the Chargers game, and whenever he played like a good team besides the Saints, he looked like shit. And that's what worries me is, okay, you don't need to be a star, but you need to be competent against the good teams.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think he definitely has a shot to be a good quarterback. I don't think he'll ever be great, but I think he's a guy who, if he gets to be accurate enough where he can throw, like consistently accurate, I think he's a guy you can go far with.
Oh yeah,
definitely is somebody that you can go far with. So let's talk about the Eagles a little bit on the draft end. They have 3 first-round picks. What do you want them to do with them? Because I know I want it to be strictly defense.
So I'm definitely with you there. Now it depends what happens with Kelsey. I think he would retired already if he did. So if he's not going to retire, there's no reason for them to take Linderbaum at all. I like Ajabo a lot if he's there. I like Sauce Gardner a lot. I like Devin Lloyd. I like Devin Lloyd a lot better than Dean. I know a lot of people like Dean because he played at Georgia, but I like the fact that Lloyd is 3 inches taller and is going to affect the passing lanes a lot more. So I think Lloyd would fit here better. And then I like Brisker a lot, but I'd rather them trade back from 19 because they're probably not going to take all those picks at where they're at. Either trade back at 19 to like 26 and take Brisker, or trade back from 19 and just get picks for next year.
Yeah.
But they definitely need an edge rusher. They could probably use defensive tackle because Fletcher Cox looks washed. Linebackers, safety, corner. Like,
they need a lot.
Pretty much anything on defense.
They need anything on defense. Just do not draft offense. If they draft a receiver in the first round, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah. And there's not really any receivers in this draft. And I'm like, okay, they need this guy. I really like Jahan Dotson, Penn State guy, but he won't fit with Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts likes to throw the ball, doesn't like to throw the ball down the field too much. Jahan Dotson only likes to go down the field.
That's the same thing with Chris Olave. Like Chris Olave, I think he's going to be pretty decent, but at the same time, he is a big play guy. He gets open downfield, catches it, gets out of bounds, gets down.
I like Treylon Burks a lot.
That's another guy. I like Treylon Burks.
I wouldn't take him in the first round. I think signing Mike Williams or a bigger guy like that already is a better option.
Chris Godwin is the number 1 target for me.
Depends on that knee injury too.
That's true.
I think Allen Robinson could be a sneaky pickup because it reminds me a lot of the Alshon situation when they signed him.
Hmm.
And now the biggest, like, Alshon was a great signing until they gave him that extension. Just don't
Yeah,
give him the extension.
yeah. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey helped us get a Super Bowl, so I'll never hate on Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, that's the
But
biggest.
really, I wouldn't really go offense at all. Um, even unless they're like completely sold on Kenny Pickett and he's there at 15, I wouldn't.
I'm not a huge Kenny Pickett
I'm
fan.
not either, but if that's the guy they want, go for it.
I think Kenny Pickett is just
He reminds me just of a mid quarterback.
yeah. He just doesn't. He just seems like he. I just don't see Kenny Pickett being a star.
No, I don't either. And it's like he had like 15 touchdowns a year at Pitt. And then sure, he had a great year this year, but besides that, he wasn't that good. And he's already older than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, yeah.
It just
Jalen Hurts-
doesn't make a lot
I
of
think people
sense.
forget how young Jalen Hurts is.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy
Now,
very well could still be in college.
it's interesting because I was looking like at his stats. I'm like, if Jalen Hurts came out this year, would he be the number one overall pick? Because I mean, you give him 2 more years, he probably wins a Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, he was was he a Heisman finalist or borderline Heisman finalist his
I think
senior
he
year?
was like 2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I know at least I know his first year at Alabama he was in the Heisman conversation, and then his last year in Oklahoma. But
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Hurts is in a great position to succeed. I think.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles are in a good position because if Jalen Hurts does have a bad year, they can easily go next year in a very, very loaded quarterback class. Or if you want to sign like kind of like a bridge quarterback for a few years, I mean, the senior class of high school this year that's going in there. I mean, I've looked at a lot of quarterbacks, and I know it's a few years away, but those guys are insane. Drew Aller,
How old's Arch Manning?
yeah, Arch Manning. Oh, I think he's a junior in high school.
Can we hold out for him?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't hate on it. No, I
Yeah.
probably in the moment I probably would be a little upset, but long term I wouldn't be.
Yeah. No, Drew Aller's career is going to be ruined by Penn State, so don't
I think
even
so.
think about him.
You
Yeah,
think-
because they're starting Sean Clifford next year already. Guy
Uh,
sucks. He's terrible.
yeah, and they also have they have two quarterbacks coming because they have that Bo Pribula coming in.
Yeah.
I predicted him. He's gonna end up transferring out because I think Ali
They had a kid last year, I think Christian
Velasquez. He
something.
played a game against Rutgers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad either.
No, he
And then
wasn't.
they're like, let me put Clifford back in there.
Yeah,
Fuck
well,
that guy.
as long as Taquan Roberson transfers,
Oh my God, get him out of here. Unless he wants to be a
transferred.
running back.
He transferred, or he's
That's like
transferred.
that's like Jalen Hurts without an arm.
Yeah, I was so mad at that game because I don't even know how the season would have went if Clifford didn't go down. Because I think they would have beat Iowa, and they probably
I think
would.
they would have been Iowa, but they would have been crushed next week anyway. I mean, they weren't good.
Yeah, I was such because in the moment we thought that team was at least I thought that team was special. I thought this team was going to had a great year, and they were beating Iowa pretty good. And then Taquan Roberson comes in and could not throw anything.
Wasn't he like a 3 or 4 star too? Like you can't throw it all. Like
Yeah, this is the time for backup quarterbacks to shine when the opposing team has no preparation for you.
Yeah, it's like, and he didn't even need to be great. He just needed to make a couple throws to keep the clock running.
Yeah, and get us out of the our own 10-yard line.
Yeah, like it's terrible.
All right, Kata. Well, thank you for coming on, man. I had a great time talking to you. We have another great week of the NFL coming up, and basketball starting to heat up. So make sure you guys go follow Cahtahhat on TikTok or Instagram, whatever you prefer.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, on YouTube and Twitch. He's streaming on those two platforms now as well because TikTok is not very nice.
Yeah, I don't like TikTok.
So that's going to do it for this episode of the Sports Raid. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.